Hello and welcome back to StartRight Training. Today we're going to be talking about positive adult-child interaction. I'm going to say it again because it's a tongue twister and it's hard for me to remember the whole sentence again. Positive adult-child interaction. That means we want to have positive interaction with children. That's what today's topic is all about. So we're going to be covering a few different topics, but I'm going to break it up into different segments so that it won't be too long, but I'm trying to create it so that it's short and sweet and you can remember as much as you can. Now, the first thing we're going to talk about today is conflict resolution. Conflict resolution. Let's dive into that. Ready or not, conflict resolution. Now, conflict resolution is a very important topic and a very important skill that we want to instill in children. Because whatever we do today, it's going to build them all the way to their adulthood. All right. So how they deal with conflict resolution right now, whatever that we are trying to teach them, they're all trainable. And for us, we are privileged to be able to work with children between 0 to 6 years old. And between this age, their minds and their brains are not quite developed yet. So they kind of need you to mold their mindset. They are so moldable, so trainable. And why not make their first 6 years such a solid, give them such solid skills that they can bring all the way to adulthood. And one of them is conflict resolution. And it's exciting to talk about conflict resolution because, to be honest with you, this can also be applied to my adult life. And I hope it will apply. You get to apply it in your adult life too. All right, so conflict resolution. Conflicts. What are the emotions that are associated with conflicts? Then when you think about the conflicts that you had before, whether you are 5 years old in your kindergarten, whether you are 10 years old at school, whether you're in college, conflicts, or at your workplace, in every stage of your life, what are the emotions that are associated with conflicts? Think about it. 30 seconds. Think about it. Emotions. When I think about my emotions when it comes to conflict, I feel anger. I feel sometimes if I'm so angry, I can feel my blood boiling on the inside. I feel betrayed. Like I trusted you, but you do this back to me again. I feel sad. I feel frustrated because I'm trying to tell you something, but you are not listening to me. I'm trying to get something, but I don't get it. We deal with conflicts all the time, and these are real emotions. What are the strategies you can think of for resolving conflicts? What are the strategies you can think of for resolving conflicts? Say sorry, lor. Somebody stole your boyfriend. Sorry, no, that doesn't make sense. What are the strategies you can think of for resolving conflicts? Or what are the strategies you were taught last time when you were younger how to resolve a conflict? Our parents will say sorry, lor. Be the bigger person. If you say sorry, then you be the bigger person. It's okay. Or just forget about it. Talk to the person. Slap the person. Beat the person back. Whatever strategies. What is your approach to conflict? All of us have got a style when it comes to dealing with conflict. So maybe let's just use 30 seconds to think about the recent conflict that you have with somebody. It can be just 5 minutes ago. It can be 5 days ago, 5 years ago. Just think about a conflict that you had with somebody, and it doesn't matter if it's resolved or not. Just think about it. 30 seconds. What happened in that conflict? Who said what? Alright, so I would imagine you have a conflict that you had in your mind. Think about it. Were you a turtle? That means you just ignore it. You didn't want to talk about it. Just push it aside. Or, say sorry. What were you? A turtle? Turtle usually when they are confronted with something scary, they hide in their shells. They choose to approach it on a slowly manner. Maybe tomorrow I'll talk to that person, or just let me sleep about it. Maybe a few days later it'll be better, That is the turtle. Or are you the shark? I need to talk to you now. We fix this now. You did this just now and you shouldn't be doing that. The shark is all about confronting conflicts at this point of time. Cannot wait. If not, the bomb will explode. Okay, so the shark's approach is, gotta deal with it right now. I need to talk to the person right now. We need to settle this now on the spot. The turtle will be, no, we can do that later. Give me some time. Alright, so that's the turtle style. Or are you the owl? Basically, the owl will come up with ideas, solutions. The owl is all full of wisdom. We see that in Winnie the Pooh story. When Tigger or Pooh has got problem, they all go to the owl because owl can solve all problems. He's wise, hardly makes mistakes. So which were you in your conflict personal styles? So the reason why I'm showing you this is because we have to be aware of our style so that we can be aware of the children's style as well. And of course, ultimately, we want to be the owl. That is the goal. We want the children to be the owl as well. And let's just remember this image, okay? When it comes to conflict resolution, we want children to ultimately learn to be the owl so that they can come up with wise solution and make good decisions for everybody. All right, you imagine the owl and picture your children in your classroom and yourself as well. So whenever you come into a conflict, remember to always try to be the owl. The owl has used problem-solving approaches, and that is our goal for today. Problem-solving approaches to conflict resolution. All right, I think you get what I'm trying to say. Conflict resolution, what does it mean? Well, conflict resolution, we're talking about in young children right now, okay? So not talking about adults. The definition of conflict resolution is that it is a way two or more persons use to find a peaceful solution to a disagreement. Now, the definition that we're looking here is peaceful solution, not just solution. When you talk about conflict resolution, we think about win-win because it's peaceful. That means both sides are happy about it. So whenever we deal with children, we try to train them, think about win-win, peaceful solution so that both parties will smile. All right, we do our best to help shape the environment for them. Conflict resolution is a skill every person needs to develop, and it's a long-term process. It is a skill. All right, it's not an overnight success. Nobody wake up the next day and be really good at solving problems. It's a skill that children need to practice, some words that they need to say to practice, and this speech starts to develop and they learn how to resolve conflicts. To be honest with you, I myself are also still in that process of learning how to deal with conflicts. But what more younger children? All right? And it requires adult patience and providing time and space for children to practice. We need a lot of patience because sometimes it's so easy for us to straight away jump in and say, "Aiya, this problem so easy to solve. Just say sorry lah. Or why don't you share? You take turns ah." But that is our solution, and it may not be the right solution for the child. Having said that, I always tell people, can we really share everything? Can I share with you my bank account, password? Why? Sharing is caring, ma. Why don't you share your details with me also? Share, win-win. No, it doesn't work that way. So some things cannot be shared. Some things cannot just say sorry to solve it. Because now we're dealing with sometimes emotional issues, and it's not that easy to just say sorry. And therefore, for younger children, sometimes a person taking away their toy is like as though somebody take away their boyfriend. You know that kind of feeling, or girlfriend. They attach very strong emotions to that particular toy, and it's been taken away. So the child is also experiencing loss here, and it cannot be just say sorry or share. I want you to imagine the same emotions that you go through when you deal with conflicts. It is the same emotions as children are going through. I know it's just a toy, but for them the toy is everything. You get what I mean? So it requires adult patience and providing time and space for children to practice conflict resolution and to let them solve the problem. So now, whenever you have conflicts in the classroom, I want you to give a pat to yourself, because conflicts are teachable moments. When children rise above themselves and they get to solve that conflict, I tell you, they go one level higher. And I mean, you will get to see the progress, and they get to mediate other people's problems next time. They get to stand in between and solve problems with other people. So we want children to be involved in that process. So what I'm trying to say is conflicts are teachable moments. Every time when there's a conflict in the classroom, say yes. Not, I gotta deal with it again. I understand how it feels, because sometimes it can be very mentally draining for us as early childhood professionals. But we are building something here, and building is difficult, but you will reap the rewards later. Okay, so conflicts are really, really great moment for adults and also for children. Teachable moments. We learn when we deal with conflicts. All right. So now there's a development towards conflict resolution. Now we talk about infants. When they are born, they are unaware of conflict. Somebody take away their toy. They are not attached to the toy yet. And they are just they just don't understand what conflict is yet. All right. The next level will be reacting to a conflict. Now when somebody take their toy, at this point they're going to cry, or they're going to hit other people, they're going to bite, they're going to kick, or they're going to just withdraw themselves, like go away. Alright, so that's how usually young toddlers, they tend to react to a conflict, and it's a very natural process. They are not naughty. They are not wrong. Well, they are wrong, but they are learning. Alright, it's a trial and error. They don't know what is the right way to do it. The natural instinct is to hit back, or to bite back, or to kick, okay? And then they learn to speak now. They're a bit older toddler. They will tend to deal with it their own way. They kind of grab, or they say, mine! Or they say, no! Go away! Or they push. So that's how, it's a very natural process again on how they deal with conflicts. And when they're a little bit more older, they will pull the teacher's shirt. Teacher, he take my thing. Teacher, he hit me. Teacher. And ask for adult help. Alright, they will tell or they will complain to an adult. And this is again where it's very important. This older toddler stage is so important, because the next step a teacher is going to do will determine whether or not the child can develop the skill or not. I'm going to ask you a question. What do you think the adult should do when the child comes and tell them a particular problem or a complaint? What do you think the adult should do? A. Tell the child what to do. B. Scold the other child. C. Help solve the problem for the child. What do you think the adult should do when the child goes to the teacher to complain? Is it A, is it B, or is it C? None. The adult should not tell the child immediately what to do, like share or say sorry, or just give it to him, let him play first. That is us telling the child what to do. Scold the other child. Why you go and take his thing, trying to be protective over the other child because the child complained. C, help solve the problem for the child, means help the child take the thing back. Okay. Why I say none is because when we tell the child what to do, the children will not be able to learn for themselves. Child will not be able to learn for themselves what is the next step to do. Okay, so, and the children will be stuck at this level where they are just complaining. So the next step should be a teacher going in between. I'm going to go through the conflict resolution steps with you later, but adult were to support and help children to agree on the solution on both sides. Next step is that the child wouldn't need any more adult to support. They can negotiate on their own. And then the next level would be the child will be able to think for their own whether or not that solution will work or not and why. And the next step would be being able to mediate conflicts between other children or adults. We want children to reach this green level, able to mediate conflicts. Mediate conflicts means being able to stand in between two parties and solving the conflict. I've seen a 5-year-old do it before. There was a 4-year-old boy who did it with his parents when his parents were arguing. He was so sad about it, but this is what the parent told me. He basically took his mom's hand, took his dad's hand, and put them together and go, Mommy and Daddy, you all need to love each other. Alright, so he was able to mediate conflicts between other children. Of course, he didn't sit down and talk through the problem with them because really this is an adult problem. But at least the thought of it is established. That means the child know that actually this could be worked on. Alright? And the parent came to tell me about it. So I don't want you to underestimate that conflict resolution skills that you are instilling with children, because it's such an important concept, such an important skill. When you see children doing it, it's just amazing. Alright, adult do nots. Alright, here are some do nots. Okay, before we jump into the steps, I want you to clear your mind and make sure you don't do these things. Do not blame the child for their actions. They hit, they bite, they kick, they pull away someone's chair. Don't blame them for their actions. Like I said just now, everything is trial and error, and they need your guidance. Point number two is do not call or label children, naughty are you, bad are you, lazy are you. Okay, I know it sounds terrible, but in my dictionary, there is no naughty children, there's no bad children, there is no lazy children. Their actions might be bad, but it doesn't mean that they are bad. Like I said just now, everything is trial and error, and our goal is to try and change that behavior. They are not a bad person, just like you. Sometimes, or me, we make mistakes, and does it mean that we are bad? A mistake is a mistake. Maybe it's a bad choice, but I won't say I am bad or you are bad. I don't think you are bad. It's just that sometimes we make bad choices because we made mistakes. Alright, so children make mistakes as well. So don't label them naughty, don't label them bad, lazy, or whatever it is. Don't label. Okay? They may be going through some difficulties, and that's why we are there for. If the children is perfect, they don't do anything, then what are we there for? Alright? Point number 3. Do not take sides in the conflict. That means don't stand one side and go like it's your fault. Don't stand on the other side. No, it's your fault. Be in the center and be neutral. If you don't know the whole story, it's nobody's fault. So don't take any sides. Don't take any sides. Be neutral. Okay? And always listen to both sides of the story. Number 4. Do not scream and yell. Some teachers can be frustrated when it comes to dealing with children, and we end up screaming or yelling. At this point, I would say I think it's safer for the adult to walk away, because you do less damage than to scream and yell. So whenever, if you feel like screaming and yelling, why you hit people? Conflict again. I would say it's better for you to just walk out and tell another teacher like, hey, I cannot deal with it. Please. And then go calm yourself down. Think about children. They're just learning, trial and error, just like us. We make mistakes, then come back. Okay? The next point, do not jump into conclusion about who is wrong or right. Like I said just now, don't think about whether it's whose fault, and don't think who's wrong or who's right. I always think that there are both wrong. Both are wrong. I also may be wrong. Who knows? Okay? And also, lastly, and the most importantly, is do not be quick to offer solutions. Say sorry. Share. Forget about it. I think in life, it's so easy to just give people advice, but sometimes it's also hard for us to do so. That being said, whenever a child is going through a problem, like I told you earlier, that sometimes these emotions are so real that it cannot just be say sorry. And some children don't even know what they did wrong to say sorry. And saying sorry, sometimes it can be just be a child's quick way of solving the problem, but it's not a long-term way of solving the issue. And the child may just learn, oh, I can say sorry and get over and deal with it. Then they don't take sorry sincerely. So don't give children the advice of saying sorry. But you can encourage that by actually asking, this person is hurt. What can you do to help the person be not so painful anymore, or don't feel the pain anymore? And let the child say, I want to say sorry, because that is so much more valuable than you telling the child what to do. I talked about share as well earlier in the video. Not all things can be shared. I can't share with you my husband. I can't share with you my bank account details. I can't share with you a lot of other things. So same goes with children as well. And children between 0 to 4 years old, their mind, like I said just now, their mind is still not developed yet. There's some part of their brains are not even formed yet. So they do not understand the concept of sharing. And to them, it belongs to them. But we can just guide them and do conflict resolution steps. And like I said, 0 to 3 or 4 years old, they won't be able to see your point of view just yet. So they don't understand why you asked to share. The brain is just not developed yet. Alright, so don't be quick to offer solutions. Do. What can we do then? Betsy, you said so many things that we cannot do, then I don't know what to do anymore. This is what you need to do. Do approach calmly whenever you see a problem or a conflict going to start. Go to where they are, approach calmly and stay neutral. I will explain more later. Don't be so kanchong. What happened? Tell me what happened. Because your emotions can escalate and cause more damage to what it is already. Alright, so always go there, be neutral, and there is a problem here. What can we do about it? Okay? Second point, do ask both parties to share what's the problem. Listen to both sides. Okay? Get them to share what's the problem. The next point is explain what's wrong about the actions without blaming. Explain what's wrong about the actions without blaming. I told you sometimes when children act out of emotions, they will hit, they will push, they will bite. All right? We don't blame them for that because that is children's trial and error, and they are experiencing emotions. They don't know what to deal with it. Therefore, they use physical contact to do that. So what we can tell them is, that action really hurt the person. It's painful. So don't blame them and don't label them being naughty and bad and all. Remember, we can just say that this action makes people really sad and it hurts. Nobody likes that. Okay, so you can encourage them so that they learn this action is not good. So what can I do next time if it happens again? The next point is do ask children what they could do next time in the same situation. So, just now you were feeling very angry. And when you were angry, you hit. So next time when you are angry and you feel this way, what can you do? What should you do? Sit down and communicate with the child and let the child tell you what they should do next time. Next point. Do ask children how they would like to resolve the issue and wait for an answer. Like I said, let them come up with a solution. For younger infant and toddlers, they don't really know how to say, but sometimes they will just pat the back, pat the head. I think for that level, that's fine. But as long as we communicate with children constantly and tell them what is the problem of that action. All right, so communication is important here, and to remind children, hey, don't do that. Be careful, okay? Next one is, the last point is to identify what type of conflict is going on. Sometimes conflicts that happen in the classroom can be caused by a lot of things. So this is what we as a teacher should look into. What problem is that? What kind of conflict is that? So there are different types of conflict among children. What do they fight about? Number one, they fight about toys. You see that most of the time, right? Number two, as they grow older, they fight about relationships. I want to sit with that person. I don't want to sit with that person. I want to play with this person. That person don't want to play with me. Okay, these are the type of conflicts. Number three, they fight for ideas. I know, this is what I can do. No, I think we can do this. No, my way better. No, me, my way better. I do this, I do that. They fight about ideas. Maybe this one's slightly older kids, when they can speak more. Number four, this is really common with infant and toddlers and also preschool, is space. Sometimes, I'm going to say this, sometimes going to a childcare center or preschool, every day you go, you meet 20 people, so many people, 10, 15 people, and you just don't have your own space. And sometimes you want to play with other people, but sometimes you want to play by yourself. So sometimes children will fight over space, or they just get frustrated when people come and invade their space. Can you imagine there is a circle around them and people just keep coming into their circle, and at that point they want to play on their own. Alright, so space can also be a conflict. So sometimes if you think that the child is having so much issues, sometimes it's just, they just want their own space. So we can create a special space and go like, okay, this is Amy's space. Amy, you play here. Okay, we're going to make sure Amy has got her own space. Some children like to be around people and they don't mind being around, they don't mind having people in their space. But some people, some children, they do mind having their space invaded. Okay, I know of a few children who are like that, and give them that space and they'll be happy. Okay, next one, number 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, point number 5, power. Me first. No, me first. Who wants to clean the bathroom today? Me. Our kids all love to do things, right? So they fight over power. Who wants to line up in front? Who wants to be the class monitor for today? They fight over power. Actually, adults do that too, right? Look at our politicians. All right, conflict among children. Now we talk about power as well. And last one is misunderstanding and miscommunication. Sometimes children don't know how to, not sometimes, children don't really know how to communicate yet. They don't know how to fully express. So sometimes what they say and do may hurt other children, and then the other children start crying and the other child start crying. And sometimes the teacher just have to go like, this is not what the person is saying, he's saying. And you just have to interpret them for them. Sometimes it's misunderstanding and miscommunication. Just like the adults, there is also misunderstanding and miscommunication. So it happens with children as well. So these are the 6 types of conflict among children, and we as teachers need to identify. Okay, so how do we address this problem? So let's say they are fighting for toys. What do you do? So we say, uh-oh, we have a problem. For young children, we can always use, uh-oh, we have a problem. You can use the word uh-oh and problem because we want to train them to identify problems. We want to train them to identify problems. We want to train them to identify problems. So we say, uh-oh, we have a problem. Both of you want the same toy. What can we do so that both of you can play with it? For younger children, like infants, toddlers, I would say, uh-oh, Amy doesn't have a toy now because you took the toy. Amy doesn't have that toy. Oh, what should we do? So we address the problem as that child doesn't have the toy. For infant and toddlers, not, why you take his toy? Give him back. It doesn't work that way. The whole thing will go more chaotic. All right, so try to think about peaceful solution, win-win situations. Now, relationships. Yes, they fight over relationships. Anna doesn't want to play with me. I think in preschool, we have some of those problems as well. He don't want to play with me. So what is the adult supposed to say? So we say, the first point there, oh, that must make you feel sad. So always address the emotions first. Whenever there's a problem, address the emotions first. Oh, that must make you feel sad. Should we go talk to Anna about it? Can we go talk to Anna? Alright, so bring both children together and listen to what they are saying. Allow them room to resolve the conflict. Listen to what they're saying. Anna, do you want to play with Amy? Why not play with Amy? And listen to what Amy is saying as well. Okay, don't just go to Amy and go, don't just go to Anna and go, Anna, why are you not playing with Amy? Don't be selfish. Don't do that. Okay, that is taking sides and that's blaming. Sometimes Anna has got her reasons as well. So gotta listen to both parties. Allow room to resolve the conflict. And at the end of the day, if Anna doesn't want to continue to play with Amy, then we say, you know what? I'm sorry that Anna doesn't want to play with you now. She wants to play with Henry. Would you like to choose something to play with? That means point her to other things, because if the child really doesn't want to play with that child, sometimes there may be a conflict somewhere, or sometimes, you don't play with everybody. And we also have to respect Anna. Okay, so I would adopt that child and go, would you sit here with me then? I'm going to play with this. Would you like to play with me? So there is a YouTube link that you can watch here as well. Okay, what if they fight for ideas? So what can the teacher do if they are fighting for ideas? We say, these are some good ideas that you both have suggested. I wonder what we can do to make both the ideas work together. So now we have 2 different ideas. Now we want them to try to either merge the ideas, or we want to make them think about how does these both ideas kind of work together. Okay, so now we're trying to create problem solving strategies with all these ideas, and we just let them think about it. Okay, and then if let's say you don't understand what the child is saying about ideas, then maybe ask them, can you explain how the idea would work? Can you explain to everybody what is the idea behind that? Or how do you think that could work? And so basically digging more from the child so that the child can think more deeply, and then maybe she'll go, oh yeah, I don't think it'll work. Oh, okay, maybe it'll work. So basically trying to help children to think about their ideas, at the same time how to work with other people's ideas and merge the two ideas together. I would actually encourage you to do that in the classroom. For example, if you're having a class party or you are trying to organize something, get children to come to this point and share ideas. Do projects with the children, even if it's in pre-K. I think toddlers a bit hard because they don't really speak, but starting from pre-K plus, 4 years old, 5 years old, 6 years old, try to come up with mini projects your classroom can do and listen to what ideas they say. And if they come up with a problem and argue about ideas, then this is an opportunity for you to, okay, so I like both your ideas, but they seem to be quite hard to work with, but how do we work them out together? So in whatever words you say, what I'm trying to say is try to be neutral and help each person grow in developing their ideas. Okay, next. Space. I talked to you just now about space. It says, we have a problem. Sam, it looks like you want to play on your own and you don't want to be disturbed. Where would you like to play? Discuss areas. Okay, so sometimes try to look at the child's emotions because they can be frustrated and they really feel like being alone. So as teachers, we need to be sensitive to the children's needs and create that space for them. All right. Oops. Oh, okay. So this is another one of space that we commonly see. Either they're fighting for the same chair, or they purposely want to put the chair in that particular spot and both child want to sit on the same space and the same spot. So as a teacher, what do? We can say, oh, we have a problem. It looks like the both of you want to sit in the same spot, but there's only one spot. I wonder what ideas you both have so you both can sit here. I know this English sounds a bit proper and we may not use it entirely in the classroom, but you can say, oh, you want to sit here and you want to sit here too. So what can we do so that you and you can sit together? Sit in this spot. Okay? So, or they are fighting to sit next to a person and go like, Ellie, Anna wants to sit near you. Where can she sit? So sometimes children want to sit with each other, but sometimes there's no space anymore. Then you identify the problem that actually Anna just wants to sit with Ellie. They just want to sit together near. So maybe Ellie can point, Ellie, where can she sit? And then let Ellie show you. Actually, Anna can sit over there. Okay, she can sit over there. And Ellie says you can sit over there. Anna, do you want to sit there? And if Anna says no, then Anna doesn't want to sit there anymore. Where else can she sit? Then maybe Ellie can suggest another place until Anna is like, okay, I'll sit there. Until a win-win peaceful solution. Okay? Power. Okay, we have a problem. The three of you want to stand in front. We will need some time to solve this. So normally what I do is, if there are 3 children or 2 children who wants to stand in front of the line, I would say, looks like the 3 of you have got some problem. I want you all to solve this first. Usually, depending on the mood of the classroom, I will get the children to just wait until the 3 of them solve it, because I would say this one, maybe like older kids. But if I don't have time in the classroom, then what I usually do is I will just go, okay, the 3 of you discuss, I have to move. And I'll bring the rest there. And then the 3 of them, we figure it out how later. Alright, misunderstanding or miscommunication. The teacher can say, what do you mean by that? Can you explain? And sometimes you will just help to interpret. I think what Sam is saying is that. Okay, so you can help to solve the miscommunication by just interpreting it. Sometimes children say something, but they don't actually mean it, just that they don't know how to express. So it's miscommunication. Okay, conflict resolution tips for infant and toddlers. Right, so in a nutshell, for infant and toddlers, remember that they are always engaging in trial and error. They're always making mistakes. All right, they're learning how to solve problems on their own. Point number 2, young children are egocentric. Egocentric means they only can see things from their viewpoint. That's why they call themselves by their first name, and they cannot see from other people's point of view. They cannot understand how does people feel until you point it out to them. Next point, they depend on the adults to tell and explain what the problem is and explain how others may be feeling. So the adults need to help to describe how they feel. The adult needs to explain what the problem is. All right. Next point, adults can use, uh-oh, we have a problem. Can you say that? Uh-oh, we have a problem. All right. The next point is don't ask why. Infant and toddlers, you're going to ask the baby, why did you take that toy? Why? And the baby just, they won't know how to explain. Even toddlers as well, they don't know how to explain why. Even older toddlers, actually, they don't know how to tell you why. Instead of saying why, you can use, what can we do now? How are we going to deal with this? What are we going to do about this? How to make this child happy? Okay? So if they fight over toys, just say, uh-oh, Emily and Ellie want the dinosaur. Do we have another dinosaur? Can we look for another dinosaur? So sometimes you got to help them a little bit to try to get another dinosaur for the child. All right? If they are fighting over space, you say, uh-oh, Emma wants to play here too. Ellie, where can Emma sit? Where can she sit? Okay, so always ask another child, just point out where can they sit. So this is something you can do in the classroom. For preschoolers, help them to identify and verbalize their feelings, because sometimes they are just so angry. Help them to calm down and go like, tell me what you're feeling right now. Why do you think you're feeling this way? Because they can speak a little bit more. What made you angry? What made you upset? Okay, what can we do right now? So that the next step will be provide space to calm down. Basically, they need to calm down. Being angry is not wrong, okay? But helping children understand what their anger can do really would help them. Okay, so help them to understand and verbalize their feelings. Provide a space to calm down. Model good behavior. That means in the classroom, if you are stomping in your classroom, the children will also stomp. If you are shouting and yelling in the classroom, they will also be shouting and yelling in the classroom. Children absorb our energy, and if we go into the classroom happy and excited, the children will also be happy and excited. Even though they have a bad day, they will look at you and go, okay, I think I can deal with this. But if you go into a classroom and be upset and angry, the children will most likely also will be in a bad mood. Okay? So always remember that the children are watching you and they will be your mirror. So make sure that you set a good role model for them. Okay? Next point is listen to children. Allow them to explain and guide them in making decisions. Always tell children, hey, we got a choice here. Let's make this choice. What choice do you want to make? You can choose to be this, you can choose to be that, you can choose. So we're going to guide them. The next step is to brainstorm solutions together, is to get them and identify the problem and go like, how can we solve this problem? Wait for them to solve it. Wait for them to say it. Now, if they're really, really stuck and they cannot come up with solution, then you can ask, do you think this will work? Then you suggest your idea. Do you think this one will work? When they come to nod and go like, yeah, maybe it can. Because sometimes they're really stuck. And they really don't know what to do. But maybe once you suggest something, don't force them to agree on it, but ask them whether, do you think they'll be okay? Do you think this will work? Once they start nodding and once they start agreeing, means there is a potential way of resolving the conflict. Okay, so you really want a lot of this. Okay, you want a lot of this happening in the classroom, and they can do it themselves too, a lot of nodding. Okay, so that works in the classroom. The next point is remember that they are building resolution skills one conflict at a time. They are building their resolution skills one conflict at a time. Actually, this is the same for infant and toddlers as well. One conflict at a time. That's so much we can take, so much they can take. So, like I said, how we approach conflicts is to give you a pat on the shoulder and go, we are going to solve this. I'm just going to pause my slides here for a moment because I want to talk about just this skill about conflict resolution. And you see me going over and over again because I tell you, when you are able to apply this in your classrooms, you rise up above another level as well, because now you're not just teaching the academics, you are teaching them that skill that would last them a lifetime. All right, so I want to say that infant and toddlers, they learn through experience. They don't know what is right, what is wrong at this point, and it's our responsibility to mold them and to guide them. And they learn through trial and error. Always remember that. And it's important to provide young children with opportunities to work on problem-solving skills and to be gentle in your guidance and to encourage when they are struggling. All right, sometimes when we jump in too soon to solve the problem, it will not help the child to discover their skills. It would not help them to grow. So don't jump in too quickly when they come to you with a conflict or when they come to you with a problem. Always approach calmly. And I'm talking about infant toddlers here. We mold them for the first 3 years about guiding them, conflict resolution. And as they enter preschool, they will take these skills and apply them as they interact with their friends. I'm sharing this with you because your roles as infant toddler teachers is so important. Like I mentioned earlier in the video that, within 0 to 3 years old, their mind is not complete yet, their mind is still developing. And when you instill these skills, they carry it to them in preschool. Now it's the preschool teacher's role to take these skills and help them and continue to build upon them. All right? Will they still get conflicts when they go to preschool? Definitely, because they are still developing their skills. All right? So the teacher's goal is to guide the children and to guide them to solve the problem. And right up to before they enter the primary school, their brain is already developed at this point. The brain is full, and now the brain is trained to handle primary level conflicts. I always like to say this: children need to solve children problems before they can solve adult problems when they grow older. And sad to say, sometimes some adults cannot solve their adult problems because this skill is not developed. And count yourself blessed because you are learning this now. You and your maybe 20s, 30s, some of us maybe 50s, okay, maybe not 50, but 50s, 60s, and still struggling to learn conflict resolution. So take it as you are applying it in yourself. At the same time, you get to, train children as well. Okay? Being able to resolve a conflict is such an important skill for social interaction. When teachers and parents nurture that conflict resolution skills, they are providing the child with the ability to solve situations before they go worse. These skills are important for developing and maintaining relationship with others. Can you imagine if you want to build a relationship and you continuously solve the conflicts along the way? The bond between two people can only be stronger. Okay? How well these skills are learned during childhood will influence the type and quality of the relationship that the child forms throughout his or her life. It's going to determine the quality of friendship. That's what I'm saying. Okay. So we're going to move on to conflict resolution steps now. This is going to be fun. How do we do it? I want you to remember how to do it and to remember every steps. There are 6 steps altogether. There are 6 steps altogether. There are 6 steps altogether. Okay? Step 1. Approach calmly, stopping any hurtful actions. So, like I mentioned just now, don't storm. What happened? That is just going to cause more drama when the child is actually not crying, become worse. So approach calmly and stopping any hurtful action. So you can see this child like maybe almost going to hit. Stop the child. Okay, don't smack the child, but stop and stop any hurtful action. So if they're pushing, then what you do is you try and stand in between, try to stop the pushing. Okay. Place yourself in between the children. Don't be on one side. Don't be on the other side. In between the children, like a triangle. Okay? Use a calm voice and gentle touches. So sometimes if they are not even fighting, assuming sometimes they're just words but they're not fighting, but sometimes putting your hands on the shoulder or on the back. Okay? And go and just calm them down. Let's breathe. It's okay. Let's breathe. Remain neutral. Don't take sides. Because imagine both is angry. Okay? But if they are biting, or if it's toddler, they're biting or pulling each other, then try to let the hand go, like hold the hand a little bit. Okay? Step 2, acknowledge the children's feelings. You look really upset. You look angry. Help the child to understand what they are feeling. Remember I said just now the emotions are strong. So when you address the emotions, it really helps. So there's one time where the child was having a conflict with somebody, and then she was just crying, and then I said, you look angry, you're upset, you're angry. Those two words didn't work. And so I said, the person hurt your feelings, didn't it? Did the person hurt your feelings? She looked at me. Once you identify the emotion that child is really facing, you unlock a lot of that ability to, from I cannot solve this to now I can deal with it. It's okay to let the child cry because it's a way of releasing. But I'm telling you that the way you acknowledge that child's feelings, it would really unlock the next step. Okay? So once you get to acknowledge that child's feeling, the child acknowledges it, and then you can move on to the next step already. Okay? So use words like, I can see you're very frustrated. Even if they're younger, never mind. They don't understand the meaning of frustrated, but what you have done is you've given them that vocabulary, frustrated, so then they can now they understand that feeling is equivalent to frustration. Okay? Upset, sad, angry, frustrated, excited. Sometimes children overexcited also can cause conflict. I can see you're so excited about it, but maybe calm your volume down, or sometimes too excited, other people also be upset. So identify that feeling, what I'm trying to say. Step 3, gather information. Ask from both sides. Even if you see the person hitting another person, ask both sides, because there's always two persons who are in the wrong. Always two persons who are in the wrong. So ask both parties and be neutral. What's the problem? Next step. Step 4, restate the problem. So once they say what the problem is, so you now will have to say, so the problem is you want that toy and you also want that toy. That's why the both of you are upset and angry. Is that right? So now you restate the problem so that they can hear it again, and then they can process that problem. Okay, so step 4 is to say what the problem is based on what they have said. Don't tokok tambah. Don't add whatever you want to say. Don't add your judgments on it. Be neutral and say, oh, you said that you want to play with this. You said you wanted this, but which one want to play first? Okay, so state the problem. Step 5, ask for ideas for solution and choose one together. This is where you kind of need time. What can we do to solve this problem? Ask them, what can we do to solve this problem? Because once you state the problem, you're now identifying and you're nailing the problem. So what can we do to solve this? Give them time to think. Encourage children to think of a solution and wait for a response. Ask for permission before offering a solution. It's not to say you cannot offer a solution. You can, but we just don't want you to jump straight into offering them a solution without giving the children the opportunity to think. Okay, so if they cannot come up with a solution, then just ask them, can I suggest something? Why not this? And then why not that? What do you think? So listen to what they say. Like I said, when it comes to, okay, that face, okay, I think maybe that you want that face, then you're gonna know that this win-win situation is gonna come up already. If they go, one person goes this, no, then you know it's not done yet. You still probably have to do a little bit more. Okay. Number 6, I would say do a little bit more, but throw up more suggestions. Oh, okay. Or maybe just keep quiet again and then wait for another response. So sometimes they are still processing. Everyone is processing, like internet Wi-Fi slow, and then they have to loading. Okay, so give them time to load. Step 6, be prepared to give follow-up support. So let's say if the child suggested something and then it worked, both sides was happy, you say, you solved the problem. You did it. You solved the problem. I did this once with a child, and I said, you know what? You solved the problem. He was having conflict with somebody else, and then it was a lot of negotiation going on, and then by the end, it was a win-win. And then I said, you solved the problem. And the child, when he go home, the father came to pick him up. He carried his bag. He said, Daddy, I solved the problem today. I solved the problem. And then the father is like, huh? Then I had to explain, they were arguing over a toy, and then blah, 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 blah. And he suggested something, and it worked. He solved the problem. The father, oh, wow. Oh, that's amazing. Oh, okay, thank you. Okay, bye. Thank you. He went home. Wow. Continue talking all the way. I think that's a breakthrough. Okay, so if the child managed to solve the problem, tell them you solved the problem. If it's a group effort together, you all solve the problem. Both of you solve the problem. Okay, so both will feel it and see which ideas work. Let's say stay near the child. So for example, if the child say, I let you play first, later you pass to me. Sometimes they need stay near the child and then say like, hey, you said that you want to give him, just wait for the child to pass the toy over, and to remind them of the solution they agree on, because sometimes they agree and then they put up don't know or don't care. Just sometimes they're like, hey, just now you said that you're going to pass the toy to him and he's been waiting. When will you be passing it to him? And then most likely they will just, okay, play it, and then they'll pass over. So these are 6 steps. All right, approach calmly, acknowledge their feelings, gather information, state the problem again, because remember, you need to process what the problem is. Step 5, ask for ideas and choose one together. Number 6, if they solve it, say you solved the problem. If the problem is not solved and you need a few more days, then just go what can we do about this problem? All right, so that is 6 steps of conflict resolution. It looks difficult at first, but after doing it so many times, it's going to be so natural for you. Okay?